Oh, there we go. All right, in our favorite recliner, getting some much needed snuggles. Watching About Fate with Emma Roberts. She was just in another one about having a fake boyfriend, and now I understand the comment that they made in the movie about her having a history of having a fake boyfriend. What movie was that I just watched her in? And it was. And of course, she ended up falling in love with the guy. It was super cute. I love all these cute, cheesy Christmas rom-coms. They're just great. So I'm gonna share the text messages from my dad. It started at 9:30, I think, this morning. I was getting ready for work, and then I went into work, and then my dad continued to text me, and I did finally text him back. So I will share that as well. Yeah, I'll just start. I'm tired. It's 7. Maybe I'll go watch this movie in bed after. These were them. This was the first one. So how funny is it that what I told you, you could tell my dad was in a narcissistic rage because he was reacting and calling me Jennifer last night. Time after time after time, completely disrespecting me when I've asked him to call me Jenny. And they finally did after how many years. And he went into a narcissistic rage, right? Calling me Jennifer. Like, you could just tell he's super triggered. So, morning, Jenny. After taking a closer look at the potential value of your 2011 Honda Civic, selling it outright could be as high as $4,000 to a private party. We would like to buy your Civic for its market value of $4,000 by giving you a check when we meet you at Arrowhead Honda on the 27th for you to pick up your 2018 Honda Pilot. Please let us know this morning if you accept our offer so that we will know if we can still move forward on the 27th. This morning, right? Like, it has to be on his time. No, it doesn't. This is not my fault that you're in this position. We both really want you and the kiddos to have a newer, larger, safer vehicle. Love you, Dad and Mom. No, he wants a new vehicle. All right. An hour later, so I had a client at 11 and 1. And it was in the room where I had to set up the table and everything. So I was setting up. Actually, I think we were on our way with Lily. Jeannie came to work with me today. We really need to hear back from you soon as to whether we have a deal to buy your Civic for $4,000 or not. So, 45 minutes later, I'm in session. I'm not able to respond. We moved money around so we would be able to give you a check for $4,000, which will state in the memo for the purchase of your Civic on the 27th at Arrowhead Honda. So, and after yesterday, he told me they couldn't give me money. They could do $2,800, but it wouldn't be until, like, what did he say, the second of the year? Oh, and now all of a sudden they can do $4,000. Like, just the manipulation tactics they're just stupid. Okay, so what time was this? 12:30. Again, in session. I think this is when I finally responded. I think I responded about 1 because my client ended up texting me saying they were going to be late at 1:15. And I wanted to nurse Lily and snuggle her and grab a snack in between sessions. We just talked with Honda. They will move forward, letting you keep your Civic. We would still like for you and the kiddos to have our 2018 Pilot so that you can sell your Civic for as much as you can get. You will have to have someone. Oh, this is great, right? Like, here, we're going to give you a gift. But by the way, you will have to have someone drop you off on the 27th at our agreed upon time of 11 a.m. Arrowhead Honda on Bell Road, just off the 101 highway, and you will need to bring your proof of insurance, as well as your license plate and car registration to be transferred to your 2018 Pilot, as we will be stopping at the title company for your transfer of your plate and get your new tabs on your Pilot. If you would prefer, we would still like to buy your Civic for $4,000, hopefully saving you the time and effort of finding a buyer for your Civic. Strictly up to you how you would like to sell your Civic. Sorry, a notification popped up and blocked this for a second. My phone, it always gets too hot. Hopefully saving you the time and effort of finding a buyer for your Civic. Simply let us know what works best for you. Yeah, we know that's not the case. That's just his guys. Please let us know what you decide on so that we can let the dealership know what we all plan to do. So, ready for my reply. Yeah, so this was sent like right at 1:15. And then I walked out and my client was just parking. So I texted this to my mom and dad because he just kept texting me from his phone. Dad, as far as your offer to give me your Honda Pilot, thank you, but no thank you. My primary concern was you holding the gift over my head for the rest of your life. And you have already disrespected that boundary by throwing it in my face how much you can get for your Honda Pilot, followed by a slew of verbal threats, manipulation, abuse. Kind of wanted to put like etc., but you know. As stated before, I will no longer be accepting any further gifts from you. It is not worth it for my mental and emotional well-being. The universe will find another way to get my kiddos and I a new vehicle. If you would like to remain in my and my children's lives, you will learn to treat us with the respect that we deserve. At this time, you may see, like 2 years ago, my dad was not, like, respecting me and pushing all my boundaries, right? Probably this is what I dealt with every year at Christmas time. It's his narcissistic rage, so I'm sure that means that Christmases were awful for him, but you know what? It doesn't need to be continued to be passed on. If you would like to remain in my and my children's lives, you will learn to treat us with the respect that we deserve. At this time, you may continue to give gifts to your grandchildren. If intentions for their gifts become anything... Oh, sweet girl. Hello. Yeah. Become anything but pure unconditional love, that will cease as well. You are still welcome in my home for Christmas as long as you treat me and your grandchildren with respect. If there's any disrespect, gaslighting, teasing, etc., I will give you one friendly reminder. If any disrespect continues, you will need to leave. My dad responded with, thank you for... That's it. Can you tell I triggered him? Thank you for... Not, thank you for responding, thank you for... Like it just says, thank you for... Yep. And it has been pleasantly quiet since. So, do I want to know what's going on with his narcissistic rage? Because I'm sure that me standing up triggered the shit out of him. No, I don't know. Do I worry about my mom? Yes, but you know what? I can't. Sorry, 1 second. Switch your sides. But I can no longer walk on eggshells to try to protect my mom, right? I did that my entire childhood, I'm sure. Trying not to piss off my dad, because if I did, he would abuse the shit out of my mom and me. Especially, I'm sure my mom, seeing her get the crap beat out of her is not fun, right? And screamed at and cornered and terrorized, and yeah. But it is on her that she is still with him. And I don't need to be mean, right? And like purposely mean. But I don't have to tolerate his abuse anymore. And it's not my responsibility to walk on eggshells to protect my dad's feelings and try to protect my mom. I'm done carrying that shit on. So, like I said, it has been pleasantly quiet since. That's the only response that he gave, which was shortly after I sent that text. I don't know what time because I was in session with my next client, but it just said, thank you for... So I shall keep you updated, but cheers to going and watching a cheesy rom-com to round out this night. And now I'm wondering, this number that kept calling me incessantly was trying to get my attention in a different manner. So the 928 is my parents' area code. 21. Yesterday was December 21st. 22. Today is December 22nd of the year 22. So I'm wondering if that's almost saying that, oh, by the way, your trial by fire will be coming to a head on December 21st and 22nd. Let's see how you do. Just a thought. But yeah, this number obviously called me like an incessant amount of times. So, and I did finally answer it one time, as you can see yesterday at 3:22, and nobody was there. It just hung up. And then they called me again, as you can see today. So I think it might have just been letting me know. And this is the onslaught of message requests that I was talking about that are from narcissists. So Captain Kenkel is actually somebody I went out on one date with. He was fucking nuts. I didn't want to hang out with him again. He's the one who just like canceled because of some family emergency, but never like actually said he was canceling, and just said, I have to go here for family emergency the night that we were supposed to go on a date. Obviously it was meant to be. I was not supposed to hang out with that dude. And then like some of these are just like completely random non-existent people. I'll share the other ones, but I think it's interesting that it goes with all these like spiritual ones. Like, they're people trying to solicit for readings, right? But they're also like spiritual, like spirituality. Like I'm thinking it's trying to say like spiritual awakening, because I did ask like, what is up with the rash? Like, how do I, like, why am I experiencing it? And I think it's basically saying like it's an onslaught of the narcissistic abuse, and just stay true to myself and my spiritual awakening, and that's what's causing it. And basically all the abuse that I sustained in childhood, the trauma of how awful this time of year must have obviously been, since I have no memories from Christmas. I don't think I have a single memory of Christmas as a kid. The only one that I have is throwing up my Christmas dinner on my plate after my dad was yelling the year that Beauty and the Beast came out, because then my mom took me to see Beauty and the Beast. So seriously, things must have been really bad. So it's no wonder that my body, which has now been calm and it knows what it's like to be calm, is going into fight or flight. It is going into fight or flight due to PTSD, because I'm actually just working through this now as I'm talking this out. This is actually making a lot of sense, because eczema, psoriasis, whatever you want to call it, is an autoimmune dysfunction. Autoimmune dysfunctions are when your nervous system attacks itself. It is basically stuck in fight or flight, and it attacks itself. And like with this, it like produces too much skin. So it's like excess skin being laid down. So how interesting that the doctor, me, who specializes in somatic trauma release and helps people heal from cyclical trauma. Like I've said, like people have trauma that bubbles up. So like, say they lost a child, they didn't allow themselves to fully grieve. That same time, years later, the next year, whatever, they will have a similar circumstance come up, in order to help them release that emotion that they weren't ready for yet. Like a car accident. Say they're still not ready yet. Fast forward, then there will be a different occurrence or a different trauma or a different diagnosis, something, because you still haven't released it. So all of the narcissistic abuse that I endured during this time of year as a child, my body viscerally, somatically remembers that abuse, and it starts to send me into that fight or flight response this time of year, because even though there is no real threat, there kind of is because of my dad, right? But no real physical threat present. Like, my dad's not present here in the house causing me abuse. My body remembers that and is basically going into PTSD, going into a fight or flight, expecting that abuse that then carried over with Dave, right? And I actually don't really remember Christmases with him either. I know he gave me gifts in the beginning, like I said, the jewelry stuff, but I'm sure they ended up being pretty shit after that. Like, we didn't do things like decorate a tree together. We didn't do things like decorate together. We didn't, I don't have good memories. So, my body, and I was looking back at previous pictures from the years, over the last couple years, and the one when Hobbs was a baby, so 4 years ago, is when I had thrush. Is that what it's called? When the baby has thrush and I have it, and it's like a yeast infection, but it's like a fungal infection in the baby's mouth and on my boob, and it was painful as crap. But it's like all this white stuff inside of his mouth, and I used gentian violet, which is like the natural, it's actually a dye, but it's a natural way to heal the fungus. It makes your mouth turn absolutely bright purple, and it stains it, and then it would stain my boobs. I think I was supposed to put down something like nipple cream or something like that, nipple butter, to prevent it from being, I think that's what I was supposed to coat my nipple. I did coat the inside of his mouth, but then I think I was supposed to put down nipple butter or something like that, so that then it didn't suck off the dye. I really don't remember, but anyways, that was in 2018 when he was born. 2019, as we know, is when I left Dave and was dealing with the onslaught of his abuse then, all of his threatening messages. So I have literally endured narcissistic abuse. Plus, this time of year was when we took the kiddos to Arizona in 2018, and Hobbs was crying on the way home, and his dad, Dave's dad, was driving. His mom was in the passenger seat. I think it was me and Callie, and then Dave and Hobbs in the back. And I told them to pull over so that I could attend to my son, and they refused. They straight out refused to pull over, and he was screaming his head off on the ride home. And he had a huge meltdown in Sedona too. And he just kept saying, leave me alone, leave me alone. And he had a few of them, emotional releases. And that makes sense because of what he endured as a baby this time of year. And his body's already reacting to it too. And Sedona, luckily, is a magical vortex of energy that helps to hold space for that release. But yeah, so I basically was recreating scenarios of narcissistic abuse year after year after year because it was my pattern as a child. And what am I doing right now? Basically going through another narcissistic abuse by my dad, basically recreating it in order to. Chris is now texting me. Speaking of narcissistic abuse, right? Oh, how funny. How funny is that? The universe is like, all right, girl, just fucking cut ties with these narcissists. Just do it. Maybe that's it. Maybe I am still supposed to get the ring surgically removed, right? Because that's not going to be fun to look at because it is a physical tie to a narcissist. I mean, it is a tie. It is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt that is tied. That Dave has the same one. It is a physical, maybe that's the twin thing, a physical tie, because he has the same tattoo, twin tattoos. I still don't understand the adoption stuff, but whatever. Maybe that's the twin stuff, is saying that we have twin tattoos that need to be removed. I need to cut all ties, like last night in that vision that I had with the axe. That was really cool, by the way. That I need to sever all ties with narcissists because this is my trial by fire time of year where I am tested like last year with Tanner, right? And the universe kept telling me, slow down, slow down, slow down. I did not listen, but again, I'm glad I didn't listen because look at what I ended up with. If I would have listened and slowed down, then she wouldn't be here right now. So she basically came in as like, Mom, you're not fucking listening. I was going to come in 2 more years, but since you're not listening, I'm going to fucking come in right now and make you listen and make you slow down and make you cut out these fucking narcissists in your life. And I'm going to help wake you up. She really is. Like, Donna pointed that out, that she's all about my healing. Like, since the pregnancy, she is like one of her, she's going to be a very powerful healer. One of her purposes, life purpose, is to help me heal. And how beautiful is that she is that powerful energy already to help me heal. And like I said, when I look at her and I hold her, I see myself. I do. I literally see me as a baby, and I see me holding myself as a baby and getting to show myself all the love that I deserved as a baby. And I just feel it. Like, I feel like it's giving myself love, because this is how babies like should be treated. They should just be held and loved. God, she's so sweet too. She's not even latched right now, but she's using my boob as her favorite lovey. So yes, this somatic release doctor is realizing that I guess I am my own client and I am helping heal myself. Yes, I do have help with Donna. So grateful for her. Like, she is like seriously, literally a godsend in my healing. And the ability to do these videos, and that's the only reason, not the only, right? But figuratively, it literally saved me from responding to get to talk it out last night. And you saw where I went from being this triggered, hurt little child to coming out of the swirl, because that's exactly what was going on. I was getting sucked into the narcissistic abuse swirl and waking up, and where by the end of it laughing, because none of it surprised me. And just the continued threat of, like, even the last one, well, This is the last time that we're messaging you tonight, and then or calling you whatever tonight, and then doing it again and saying, well, we're going to bed now. Yeah, you already said that. You didn't need to say it again, but you could tell he was in a narcissistic rage. And I don't think last night he would have been too abusive yet to my mom. I'm sure he yelled. I don't think he would have been too abusive yet to her last night, because he still potentially was holding out hope of control over me. But I think once he realized this morning, once I called him out on it, what is it that Dr. Dr. Yeah, the human magnet syndrome guy. What's his name? Doctor, whatever. What does he say? Don't unmask the narcissist, just run. Something like that. Like, don't unmask the narcissist, just run. Basically, like, and he even says that, like, be prepared for the narcissistic onslaught, the abusive onslaught. And it's exactly what happened last night. And I think once I finally stood up and said something today that I won't tolerate it anymore, I have a feeling he took it out on my mom. Part of me, of course, wants to call her and check on her, but that's not the right thing to do right either, because that would just piss him off even more. That would probably be like an unnecessary. And then he would also know that he has me engaged, and that he potentially has power over me, because he knows that I wouldn't want my mom to be abused. But I definitely do worry, like, about how it went today after I did that, because I know my dad. And it's almost like that when they're quiet, you're like, what's wrong? Like when kids are being loud and playful, and it's when they get quiet that you know they're up to something. So, keep you posted. I'm gonna go lay in bed, get this beauty in some PJs, and go lay in bed and watch that super cute cheesy movie, because it's gotta be amazing if it's called About Fate, and it's pretty damn good so far. So, thank you again. That is my update. I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for helping me get through this. Fascinating that I am still learning, like on the job training for somatic trauma release, how this works and how to get through it. Just fascinating stuff.